Namaskar. Dear friends, I am Sanjay Mansukhani from ChangeDestiny.in. I am a teacher of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and today we are going to discuss one of the basic premises on which Sankhya Darshan and the yoga philosophy is based. This essential basic premise, foundation of both these philosophies, the Sankhya as well as the yogic philosophy, are two essential concepts, two essential principles, two essential tattvas. One tattva is Purusha and the other tattva is Prakriti. Now, as we had discussed yesterday and I had told you, Purusha represents the individual soul and Prakriti represents, in a way, nature. So we find that individual souls have their existence in nature. So on this planet Earth, there is only one Earth, but we have crores of souls living here, existing here. So similarly, in the Sankhya and the yogic philosophies, there can be innumerable Purushas, but only one Prakriti. So it is the same Prakriti in which different individual souls come, exist for some time, and they move on to their next life. And then when I mean next life, I mean the next body. So what exactly are we talking about? And why does soul get attached, get linked up, get associated with the body and mind? And why does this combination of the soul, body and mind exist in the world of matter, objects, people, conditions and differing circumstances? So this is the question which man has been asking for eons, and there has not been a proper, single, uncontested answer on this. But for the first time, in my opinion, Kapila Muni in his Sankhya philosophy presents a theory of 25 principles, 25 tattvas of this creation. So the two primary principles, primary tattvas are Purusha and Prakriti. So today we will look at both of them, both from a macrosmic point of view and also a micro point of view. And you will find an interesting story out here. And you will find this story very, very empowering. You will find you can change your destiny anytime you want if you understand this theory. It may take you some time, so kindly bear with me. Bear with me throughout this session. This session will last another 25 minutes or so. I know this is a long time, but 25 minutes is a very short span in your life. And 25 minutes can give you so much of power, so much of knowledge, that you will be able to influence not only your happiness, but bring permanent happiness to the members of your family, your society, your country, and the people of the world at large. That is the importance of what I am going to share with you now. So my dear friends, the two essential basic concepts, Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha is a male name and Prakriti is a female name. So Sankhya philosophy says there is a male and there is a female, and they both come together. Why do they come together is not known, but they both come together, and from there, coming together, rises this creation. So, who are these, I would say, entities, the Purusha and the Prakriti? So, Purusha is defined as a non-changing, permanent entity which is formless. Non-changing, permanent entity which is formless, and it is also infinite. That means the Purusha, the individual soul, is present everywhere. Second, this individual soul is eternal. It is forever, in all times. It has been there before the beginning of time. It will be there after the so-called ending of time, if it were to happen. It is always there. Third, it is formless. It has no form. And this formlessness and these three qualities are non-changing. So it is just there. Now, what is one property which this individual soul has? This is conscious. It is pure consciousness. 100% purity of consciousness. And this 100% pure consciousness, this complete consciousness, has got awareness. Awareness about what is happening. So it has awareness, and its awareness can be about itself or about what is there around itself. So this Purusha is an entity which is of pure consciousness, which is aware, formless, infinite, eternal, permanent entity. It cannot be seen. It is everywhere, in all time, and aware, conscious of itself and conscious of its surroundings. The second entity is Prakriti. Prakriti is the female here and Purusha is the male here, as their names suggest. People who have Indian origin, who understand the Indian languages will know this, that Purusha is a male name and Prakriti is a female name. So the female entity, Prakriti, again is eternal, in all times, permanent, infinite, cannot be seen. It is invisible. But it does not mean it is formless. It is invisible. So we will come to this difference between it being invisible and being formless. So Prakriti is invisible, and this Prakriti is constantly changing. Constantly changing. It cannot remain the same ever. It is rolling over in time. So Prakriti, as I told you, is invisible. What it means is, whatever is there in Prakriti is so fine, is so small, is so infinitesimal, is so micro, that human eyes, human perception through the senses cannot see it. And it is just not the human perception. The human tools of perception, the human measuring instruments, perceiving instruments, which have been devised by mankind, our most advanced computers, our most advanced measuring instruments, cannot ever see Prakriti in its core form. It is so fine. That is what it is meant by invisible. But what are the qualities that this Prakriti possesses? This Prakriti possesses three essential qualities. So the first quality, which I have already told you, is it is constantly changing. It is constantly undergoing transformation. The second quality it has is the quality of having a form. The third quality it has is the quality of formlessness. So, Prakriti has these three qualities together. So, if you take up any unit of Prakriti, any microscopic part of Prakriti, you will find it is exhibiting these three qualities simultaneously. So what are these properties, these qualities called? These qualities are called Rajas. Rajas means change, constant change. Tamas. Tamas means form, having a form. And Sattva means being formless. So in a way, in very simple terms, you can understand Tamas as grossness, Sattva as subtleness. Sattva and Tamas are always opposites. And these two opposites are ever changing in quality. So if a particular portion, a particular area, a particular point in this Prakriti is exhibiting the quality of Sattva, then after some time it may exhibit the quality of Tamas. What it means is, where there was formlessness, there might be formness after some time. So this changeover from formlessness to form and form to formlessness, both can happen. This change is constant, and this change is called Rajas. So these three qualities coexist. So to understand it mathematically, if you look at any evolute of Prakriti, any output of Prakriti, any portion, piece, part of Prakriti, you will find these three qualities in a combo. And if you add up these three qualities, they will make the 100% of the qualities of that particular piece, item, part of Prakriti. So for instance, there is something which has, say, 30% Sattva, 30% Tamas, and 40% Rajas. So this makes it 100%. Now if by any method we change the Sattva to 20%, the balance 2 will become 80%, so that the total remains at 100%. Sorry. So anything in Prakriti is a combination of these three, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, in percentages which add up to 100% in all scenarios. Now this is what is Prakriti. And Prakriti, since it is changing, has many stages, has many evolutes, has many, I would say, levels of existence. And these levels of existence of Prakriti in the initial stages are invisible, and further on the higher stages become visible. Second, this Prakriti, in its initial stage, in its dormant stage, is in a state of equilibrium. So what I mean by equilibrium is that the Rajas, the Sattva and the Tamas, they keep on changing in such a way that the overall nature of this substance does not change. Overall nature of that Prakritic entity does not change. From outside, you are not able to see anything happening, but internally, the form, the formlessness, and the change, they are dancing together in such a way that the overall equilibrium of this Prakriti is not disturbed. That is an important point to understand. And in this state, this Prakriti is unmanifest. This Prakriti cannot be seen. This Prakriti is hidden. This Prakriti can be experienced, can be sensed, can be understood, can be you can say perceived by intuition of a yogi. So somebody who has trained over the years to look into those aspects of Prakriti which are not visible to others, which are not sensible, which cannot be sensed by our normal sense organs. Only then is he able to perceive, to experience, to sense, to understand, to have an insight about this Prakriti. So that is the first initial explanation, I would say in a shorter manner, about Purusha and Prakriti. Now, just if a male in the real world would come close to a female and engage in a sexual activity, if they would come close to each other in a physical way and have intercourse, then what will happen? Then the egg, the ovum inside a woman would get fertilized, and when that egg, that ovum inside her would get fertilized, there the first creation of a new baby would start. Now just conceive in mind what I am trying to tell you and listen to me very, very carefully. Now when we inject, say, a vaccine in our body, say a vaccine for COVID, in that case what happens? Some of us get a tremendous reaction. Some of us get body ache. Some of us have fever, and some of us have other infections. So just by an injection of a few drops of a vaccine, our body rejects it, our body opposes it. So what does it show? It shows any foreign matter which is put into our system may be summarily rejected by our body. Similarly, when a male seed and a female egg, they come together, there is a possibility that there might be an opposition inside that fertilized egg to whatever has come in from the male. But that is how birth starts. That is how the creation starts. Similarly, in the Samkhya theory of evolution, the Purusha goes close to the Prakriti, and when he goes close to Prakriti, it triggers some excitement, some reaction inside Prakriti. So the first disbalance in the equilibrium of Prakriti in its unmanifest state happens. And this disbalance is the first Rajasic activity of change, Rajas. And then it explodes into a huge Sattvic activity. It then grows tremendously into a formless state, into a Sattvic state. Sattva, if you remember, was the quality of formlessness. Now it is growing, becoming bigger and bigger. So this Sattvic is the second stage which happens in the evolution of creation as per Samkhya theory. So here, in the mother's womb, the baby starts growing. And who is nourishing the baby? The mother is nourishing the baby. Similarly, in the cosmic theory of evolution of Samkhya, who is nurturing the evolution of this creation? Prakriti. Prakriti is the mother. Prakriti is the source who is feeding, who is nourishing, who is growing this cosmos. So the first output, the first manifestation which comes is Mahat. Mahat is the grand principle. Mahat is the Mahatattva. So this Mahatattva is the cosmic seed, is the seed of the cosmos, is the first fertilization of both, the coming together of the Purusha and the Prakriti. Now this seed has qualities of both of them. It has consciousness and it has Prakriti, that is the changing, which is constantly changing. So what we have now is a seed which has a combination of the unchanging and the combination of something which is constantly changing. So when something which is constantly changing is mixed with the constantly non-changing entity, such an entity is a unique entity, and such an entity is called the mind. So it is the mind which gets born the first in the cosmic plan of creation. So here you need to understand what happens inside the mother's womb. When the sperm fertilizes the egg, then the very first creation which happens is a form of intelligence, a form of mind. And this form of intelligence, this form of mind is what controls, plans, executes the growth of the baby, step by step, part by part, component by component, limb by limb, cell by cell, organ by organ. So this initial seed of intelligence has the entire program in it, and based on that program it receives the nourishments from the mother internally and keeps on growing in its planned manner, in its planned way. Similarly, in the same analogy, the cosmic evolution theory of Sankhya says that when the Purusha and the Prakriti come together, the mind comes. And this mind, because it has the changing element in it, this mind, because it has a portion of Prakriti, there is form also to it. This mind, because it is a portion of Prakriti, there is formlessness also to it. And this mind, because it is a portion of Prakriti, it also has constant change in it. And this mind, because it is a portion of Purusha, It has something which is unchanging. It has something which is permanent in it. And it has something which has the potential of being infinite. Why infinite? Because it has come out from two infinite entities. The Purusha is infinite, the Prakriti is infinite. It has the potential and the power to become eternal. And why is that so? Because it has come out from Purusha, who is eternal. It has come out from Prakriti, which is eternal. It is something which has been there for a long time. It has been there from Anadikal, and it will be there for Ananta time. Anadikal means the beginning of time. Ananta means the end, beyond the end of time. So what it means is, what has come out as a combination of Purusha and Prakriti potentially has the ability to not die. It can remain forever. It can come out or never get into the cycle of birth, death, rebirth, redeath, and so on. So these are very interesting concepts which Sankhya Darshan by Kapila Muni has placed before us. And these same very interesting concepts have been accepted by the yogis, by the Yoga Shastra, by the Yoga philosophy. So Sankhya, my dear friends, is the theoretical grounding, is the foundation on which the action-based work is done in yoga. So what kind of action-based work happens in yoga? Yoga essentially works at three levels. The true, authentic, classical yoga. I'm not talking of those forms of yoga which the world considers as yoga today. Asana, pranayam, just meditation, no. And there are whole gamut of so-called yogas out there. I'm talking about the original, authentic yoga from the ancient land, the ancient spiritual country of this world, India. I'm talking about that yoga which the ancient rishis, sages practiced in the jungles, on the mountains, beside the riverside, on the seashores. It is not the yoga I am talking about which has been formulated, designed, marketed, presented in the modern day world. I am talking about the original, authentic, classical yoga. So dear friends, in that original, authentic, classical yoga, three methods were prescribed. The first one was vairagya, that is, detach from the world. The second is concentration. Go deep into whatever you do. And the third is Ishvara Pranidhana. That means surrender to the Lord. We will cover more of these three techniques later on, but you may just keep them in your mind at this point of time, so that you understand that yoga has three specific methods to go deep into the mysteries of the mind, into the powers of the mind, and to reach the absolute ultimate state of existence ever possible for any being in existence. That is what is yoga. And Sankhya Darshan is speaking about a method whereby mere knowledge, whereby mere knowing the fact, understanding this concept, these principles, these tattvas, you will be able to appreciate and realize that what you are studying and listening to is the complete knowledge. That is why Sankhya is a short form of samkhyati. Sam is complete, Khyati is knowledge. Khyati can also mean intuition. Khyati can also mean supernatural knowledge. It can also mean extensive power of discrimination and discernment, extreme wisdom. So that is the Sankhya Darshan, the philosophy which we are discussing, or rather which I am trying to explain to you. So here Purusha and Prakriti are two distinct entities. They are distinct. One is constantly constant. That is the Purusha. The other is constantly changing. That is the Prakriti. The constantly constant is the male part. The constantly changing is the female part. The constantly constant goes near the constantly changing, and they create a baby. And this constantly constant, constantly changing, the baby they create is this existence, is this creation, is this cosmos, is this universe. So if you look around, wherever you are at this point of time, if you look around, you will see, you will perceive that there are three qualities which you can see in your immediate environment, in your immediate circumstances, in your immediate situation, in your immediate world, in your immediate room, in your immediate view. And what are these three qualities? Number one is the quality of change. You will find change happening in you and around you. You will find change happening in you and around you. Number one. Number two, you will find form in you and around you. Your body has a shape, your body has a size, your body has a weight, your body has a color. Similarly, the world outside, objects, people, things, they have size, shape, color, and many other aspects connected to form. So form is there. And the third is, you will find something else which is invisible, which is formless. It may take the form of the container. It may take the form of the whole universe. So these are the three specific qualities, common qualities, which you will find being exhibited everywhere around you, including in you. If you look at your mind, you will find it there. If you look at the world outside, you will find it there. If you look at your mind, you will find your mind is constantly changing. So that quality of change or rajas is being displayed. If you look at your mind, you will not be able to see it. There has no shape, no size, no color. So that is the quality of sattva. If you look at your mind, you will find you have certain fossilized thoughts. You have certain mindsets. The mind has become set like a stone. So there you have a form. There you have a structure. You may have a thought process working inside you. You may have habits. You may have addictions. So these are all displaying a form of a form. If you look at the world outside, as I told you, you will find people, they have a form. You will find cars, buildings, roads, all in form. You will find air, space, no form. And you will find things changing. You will find the sun rising and setting. You will find the earth moving. You will find the moon moving. Everything is moving. So you are part of Prakriti. So your mind and your body and the matter and the whole universe, the whole cosmos is nothing but Prakriti. So Prakriti in its original state of equilibrium, where it is unmanifest, is called Mool Prakriti, the primordial Prakriti, the root Prakriti, the nascent Prakriti. And this Prakriti, once Purush comes close to it and the process starts, then evolution starts. And then you have evolute by evolute coming out. Then you have a whole series of things coming out of this Prakriti. The manifestation starts. And that manifestation gives rise to our cosmos, gives rise to living beings, gives rise to everything around you, including the vegetation, including the animals, insects, including the seas, the mountains, including the stars, the galaxies, everything. Everything, including energies flowing, everything is coming out of the Mool Prakriti, step by step, stage by stage. So we will cover more of that. As I told you in yesterday's lecture, there are 25 tattvas. One tattva, prime tattva, is Prakriti, Mool Prakriti. Out of this Mool Prakriti, there are 23 tattvas which come out. I had narrated them for you yesterday. So that makes it 24. 23 which come out, which are evolutes, and one which is the source, that is the Mool Prakriti, 24. And 25th is the Purusha, the unchanging tattva. Purusha is the only unchanging tattva in the entire creation, in the entire existence. Rest all are changing, constantly changing. And the biggest problem of mankind, the biggest problem of living beings, the biggest problem of this creation, entities who are there in this creation and are aware about their presence in this creation, is sorrow. So this sorrow is coming out of the primary cause of the living beings being a mix of both the Purusha and the Prakriti. So if you look at yourself, forget everything else, look at yourself and try and identify who you are. You will find within you there is a spirit. There is some entity which is non-changing, which never changes. Second, you will find you have a mind which cannot be seen but is constantly changing. Then you will find you have matter, you have a body, you have the world outside of objects and other people and things which is constantly changing. So there are essentially two kinds of entities in which you are, like a fish in an ocean. One is the non-changing, which is the spirit, and the other is constantly changing, which is the combination of the mind, the body and the matter. Now, if you know, if you realize that you are the spirit and not the body, mind, matter combination, you will never have sorrow in your life. You will be in a state of Paramananda. But if you have a wrong notion, if you have a wrong identification of yourself with your body, with your mind, with your possessions in this world, with your relationships, with your rank, with your name, with your caste, with your profession, with your nationality, with your species, it all will be a cause of sorrow. So the purpose, the goal of Samkhya Yoga is to remove sorrow from human life. So in order to understand and remove sorrow from your human life, you must understand and appreciate that you are the Purusha and you are not the Prakriti. If you think you are the Prakriti, your life is going to be a big mess. And if you can think, believe, realize, accept that you are not the Prakriti but the Purusha, then you will have a life full of bliss, a life full of complete knowledge about this entire existence, a life full of complete power about this entire existence, and a life full of good health. You will not die. You will live forever. So this seems pretty idealistic. This sounds crazy at times, but try it out. Try it out and start believing you are the body and the mind and all associated paraphernalia. Your life will soon become hell. Try it out for 1 month and do the reverse. Try out for 1 month that you are not the body and not the mind but the spirit, the unchangeable. Whenever you see that something is changing in you, dump it. Locate, find out where, what in you is that which is not changing and be with that. You will find within a month's time your life is full of happiness, bliss, and things start happening for you. You will find coincidences happening for you. You will find synchronicity happening for you. You will find you are able to bend nature, Prakriti, the way you want. You are able to create conditions, circumstances based purely on your thought, purely on your thinking, purely on your desire. So that is the power which Sankhya Darshan can give. That is the power which proper understanding of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali can give. So dear friends, I thank you. I thank you immensely for being here, listening to me. And I'm sure you have found a way by which you can extract permanent happiness from this existence, not only for yourself but for your family members, the members of your society, the people of your country, and the people of this world at large. So let's do it. Let's create a happy planet. Let's leave a happy planet for our children, our coming generations, and let's do a noble job. Let's leave this planet a little better because we came here. I thank you tremendously from the bottom of my heart for listening to me, and I'm sure you have gained tremendously out of today's talk. I wish you all the best in life and pray that this permanent happiness is accessible to you and remains with you forever. Thank you once again. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. if it is possible for you, so that we can take this talk further. We are calling these talks yogic healing talks with the intention, with the purpose that let us heal the world together. So thank you dear friends again. God bless each one of you. Thank you.